How you doing, everyone? Welcome back. Well, what we're going to talk about now is patriotism. You can see this flag over my shoulder here. And, it was actually over here earlier where you may not have been able to see it. And I've got another one up there that you can't see. Actually, that one is, that's an older, the flag itself is probably made to look relic, it looks like. But, it doesn't have the full 50 stars. But that's alright. Well, patriotism. We saw it on full display at the DNC. Right? People waving flags, and now keep in mind, to be a patriot, you don't have to wave flags, you don't have to chant USA, USA, right? That by itself is not patriotism, right? Anybody can do that. But patriotism versus nationalism. Well, nationalism is blind loyalty. My country, right or wrong? Well, no, not right or wrong. You can support your country, you can love your country, and still not agree with everything, and be critical of it. I mean, to say that you can't be critical of your country and still love it, let me ask you, if you have kids, right? And your kid misbehaves, you take disciplinary action. Because you want to correct that kid's behavior, put that kid back on the right path. Do you hate that kid because you want to change that behavior? Of course not. You still love your kid. You want to fix something. That's not acceptable, so let's fix it. All right, maybe not a perfect analogy. What analogy is, though, really? But yeah, you can love your country and still recognize that, hey, you know what? Some things are wrong. Excuse me. In fact, the side that claims to have a monopoly on patriotism, all they do is run this country down. We're a nation in decline. Are we? I mean, I'm sorry, but if your idea of patriotism is that I have to support this one guy who is out for himself and doesn't care about the rest of us, doesn't care about this country, would sell this country out for his own benefit, no, that's not patriotism. That is not patriotism. If you are willing to try to overthrow an election because you don't like the results, if you don't like the results of an election, you know what you do? You accept it, and then you go out and you work harder next time to win. If you have the better ideas, you'll win. Or at least that's the way it should be, right? Instead, we have the better ideas, and therefore, if we lose, the election is rigged. Well, no, it doesn't work that way. You can't claim that we have rigged and fraudulent elections, that you're going to overthrow, and you're going to claim that all elections are rigged until we meet certain criteria. Unless, of course, our guy wins, in which case everything is all fair and square. But, yeah, you can't be the type of person who will go overthrow an election because you didn't get your way, threaten civil war, which, by the way, my opinion on that is, look, either get it started or shut the hell up already. But you won't do it because you'll lose. But that's beside the point. You don't threaten civil war. You don't threaten your neighbors, because they have different opinions. Patriotism is not trying to take rights away from people. I mean, there are people who want to, overturn the Supreme Court decision that allowed for gay people to get married. What do I care if, I know, the old cliche is, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Well, what do I care if Adam and Steve want to live together, and call it a marriage? How are they hurting me at all? How are they hurting you? They're not. Leave them alone. Let them do their thing. I don't understand it, but that's okay. I don't have to. All I have to understand is that they're happy. And whatever happens in their house is none of my business. There are people who want to, take away the rights of, for contraception. Okay. So you don't want abortion, but you also don't want to prevent unwanted pregnancies. Hypocrite much? I mean, you want freedom of religion as long as it's your religion. Okay? See, there is a mosque in my community. I have never been inside of it. I know right where it is, of course, but I've never been inside of it. Probably never will be inside of it. Not because I have any disrespect for the people who worship there, but because I disagree with them on matters of faith. And that's okay. As long as they're not hurting anybody, what do I care? There's also a Jehovah's Witness temple not too far from here, right here in this town as well. Well, I disagree with them. I mean, there's a lot of Catholic churches around here too, and I disagree with the Catholics. Whatever. Are they hurting anything? Probably not. So, I kind of got sidetracked a little bit there. You want to take away freedom, by, you call it freedom of religion by stripping away the separation of church and state. Well, I'll tell you what. my version of Christianity is not the same as your version of Christianity, for those of you who want to take rights away. Because your version of Christianity, for most of you, is pretty much Leviticus. And the version that I like to follow is, for the most part, the New Testament. You know, the things that Jesus said. I mean, the Old Testament's important. The Old Testament is also important. But if you want to actually be a Christian, you have to follow Christ, right? So stop trying to take people's rights away. Stop trying to take away religious freedom, you know, and if there's somebody who doesn't believe at all, well, personally, I would like for you to change your mind on that, to come around. And find salvation. I would like for you to do that. However, I can't force you. No one can. So, if you disagree with me on matters of faith, well, that's your decision. And if I try to push it onto you and you end up converting because I forced it, you didn't really convert, did you? Because you don't believe it. So, you know, stop trying to, overturn elections. Stop trying to overturn, certain rights that you don't like. For example, the right to contraception and the right to for same-sex couples to get married. And it's actually even been suggested that they want to, some people, I've only heard like a handful of people actually say this, but interracial marriage. Why do you care? Seriously, why do you care? How does it hurt you? It doesn't. What other people do is their business, not yours. Unless it directly harms you or is a serious threat to you or someone else, leave it alone. Stop trying to be a nationalist. Stop, in fact, a Christian nationalist. This video is already going kind of long. I'll get into that at some other point. So, but yeah, don't be a nationalist. Be a patriot. Love your country. Support your country. Accept and acknowledge when changes need to be made and move to make those changes. And just because those changes need to be made doesn't mean you hate your country, and it doesn't mean, you get to use this whole, well, love it or leave it slogan. Well, I do love it, and that's why I'm going to stay. That's why I'm going to stay right here and try to change it, because it can be better. I'll see you next time.